Folks, welcome back to another episode of Mayhem in the Midsouth. Today we're going to be looking into episode 13, Atlanta Child Murders, part 9. Alright, before we get started, we're going to review what we've previously looked at. Now, the 27 victims so far, we've got 5 that the authorities would not attribute to Wayne Williams. Now, that's number 5, the Lanier girl. Number 9, the little Wilson girl. 10, the little Washut boy. 13, the little Jones boy. And then 14, the little Glass boy. Now, on the Glass, obviously they've never recovered the body, so there's no way to know if Wayne Williams was responsible or not. It would not surprise me that he was, because Williams seemed to like to hide his bodies in the deep woods or toss them in the river, and sometimes it's not all that easy to recover a body that's in the river. Sometimes they don't get recovered. But in any event, those other 4 though, for sure, 5, 9, 10, and 13, I don't think he did. I know 5, 9, 13 he didn't. Absolutely he did not do those. And 10 probably the same. But at the end of this will be the final episode in this, or final part to this episode. And I'll go over what I think, what little I do think or know about this case. And as you can see, I pointed this out before, it seems like the majority of the victims the bodies were recovered in the southeast part of Atlanta for whatever reason. And obviously number 27, Payne, Williams was convicted of his murder. John Porter was 28 years old. He moved around a little bit when he wasn't in prison. Now, he had been, according to resource material, he'd been in the Georgia State Pen up in Reedville for a little bit. And it would appear that he might have been a mental consumer, because it's mentioned that he was transferred to the Georgia Regional Hospital. So he's out. And now at one time he was living with his grandma for a few months. Now there's an allegation that he molested a 2 or 3-year-old child in her house, and she kicked him out. He went over and stayed with his mama over on Capitol Avenue. But now he would obviously been a mental consumer. He would go through his spells, and he would get out and move around, and he wouldn't be home for a while. In fact, he moved around so much walking the streets that none of the resource material actually knows when he was last seen. We do know this, though. On April the 12th, 1981, his body was found in a vacant lot at 796 Northwest Bender Street. Resource materials saying he was stabbed on the sidewalk and then propped up on some steps. And cause of death was the multiple stab wounds. Now the resource material, the two sites that I'm getting most of my information from, the atkidweekly.com and then the interactive page from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They're both saying that the Porter case was considered a pattern case in the Williams trial. And I'm sure there'd be information that Atlanta PD had that would make them want to include him. I don't know what else it would be. I would think the number of people that might want to kill John Porter was probably a very long list, especially him being out on the street like he was. William Barrett was 17 years old. He lived at 346 2nd Avenue Northeast. Now, I also saw the address of 396 2nd Avenue. I believe that's what the Atlanta newspaper had it listed as. Now, Barrett wasn't an angel. He had a criminal record that included aggravated assault and drug charges and theft, and he'd done a little time in the Who's Gal. Now, I've got two locations where he was allegedly last seen. One said he was somewhere around the Kirkwood area. Now, the other one claims that he was at the McDaniel Glen Housing Community Center. Now, those two locations, if I've got them right, that Kirkwood area, somewhere right around Memorial Drive and 2nd Avenue, just down from his house. Now, it's a long, long ways off from where that community center was. It's 25, 30 blocks maybe west of there. It's over there in that Mechanicsville area of Atlanta. Either way, now, that was right around May 11th and when he was last seen. Now, May 12th, the next day, his body's found in a little wooded area on Winthrop Drive. Now, that's right near I-20 in Glenwood, near Green Cove. Now, cause of death was shown to be asphyxiation by strangulation, which is obviously is Wayne Williams' calling card. Now, this was listed as a Williams case by the authorities. Nathaniel Cater was 27 years old. Now, he lived at the Falcon Hotel over there at 180 Lucky Street Northwest. Now, that hotel's been torn down, and there's a Ferris wheel there on that corner. Now, Nathaniel, he worked for Adam Man Labor Pool, and he was allegedly a male prostitute at the Silver Dollar Saloon and the Cameo Lounge down on Spring Street. Now, there was one witness that claims that Nathaniel was down there at the Rialto Theater that was at 84 Forsyth Street Northwest, and he was holding hands with Wayne Williams. And you can take that for what it's worth. Now, somebody else thought they saw him at the bus station right after leaving the Cameo Lounge down there near Woodruff Park. Now, that was May 21st, 1981. Now, the desk clerk at the Falcon Hotel said he saw Nathaniel at about 3 p.m. on May 21st. In any event, on May 24th, 1981, Nathaniel Cater's body was found by a couple of boys that were fishing. Now, it's about a half mile south of I-285 bridge there on the Atlanta side of the Chattahoochee, near South Cobb Drive. Now, his body was totally naked. Cause of death was asphyxiation. Now, Wayne Williams was tried and convicted for the murder of Nathaniel Cater. Folks, to close out this series, I'm listing the names of the victims that I think Wayne Williams could have killed, probably killed. But now just remember, you take my list with a grain of salt, because the Atlanta child murders is not a serial killer case that I've really followed or really studied. I'm more of a Zodiac killer, Ted Bundy, Jack the Ripper. I've never really looked at the Atlanta murders because it's about dead children, and I don't like to investigate cases involving dead children. I did when I was still a police officer, and even less so now. So you can take my opinion on who he killed and $1, and you can go get you a small cup of coffee. That's about all my opinion's worth, I think, on this particular matter. But anyways, these victims listed here for the most part were death by strangulation and then the body location. Now, even a couple of these cases, the victims were dropped off in spots that they don't necessarily sound like Wayne Williams, but mode of death, I think it sounds like him. But anyways, folks, I appreciate y'all tuning in on this one here. If you got a case or something you'd like me to do for Mayhem in the Mid-South, just send me something, and a little comment or something, and I'll try to work on it. Now remember, Mayhem in the Mid-South, I'm trying to stay obviously in the South with these cases, but if you got a request and it's outside the South, I'll take care of it on Coffee, Tea, and Crime.